I I don't know how to describe the I like that final. I don't know how to describe that final. That The Last of Us, episode 9. I, I've As I'm recording this, I've just finished the episode only 10 minutes ago, and holy shit. Like, holy shit. I I, uh, I don't know what to make of it, guys. Let's let's get into this episode.
Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. And, honestly, as I just said 2 seconds ago, that last episode of The Last of Us, I was just sitting there and just looking at it going, what and wow. That is my two reactions I had to that, which I will get into that later. As you guys always know, we are streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, I wish soon, Twitch, and YouTube. And new episodes come out every Tuesday morning. So thank you very much for being here. Whether you're a new person or someone who's been around since episode 1, I thank you again. So we are going to be looking at The Last of Us, the last 2 episodes. We're going to be talking about that final, and we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Mandalorian, which that has just opened up so much possibilities, and it's fantastic to see this entire new world build. And I'm so happy that this episode will be obviously similar like last week. Pedro Pascal, all around, everybody. Who does not want more Pedro Pascal? But before that, as we always do, is that we get into the news and then we get into the reviews. So I would also like to say a big shout out to my friend Mark from Mark My Words. He's just brought out some fresh merch, so go please check him out. Especially if you're a Dragon Ball Z anime fan, you're gonna love it. It's fantastic. So this past week, I think I've been saying this a lot lately. Is like so much has happened, and honestly, it does. It feels like, I don't know if it's just that first few months of the year, just bang news, rumors, all floating around. So let's start with, I thought we'd start with gaming news, because in the very past week, we had an announcement that I was not expecting. There was no rumblings. There was no little hints, no leaks, no nothing about this. And I'm so surprised, because I feel like everything I've just mentioned, this is something that, it's not very rare that you see something or something gets announced and you had no idea it was coming, that you're just generally surprised, especially in my line of work. I'm actually, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, obviously Deadpool, that was a big one. That was a big, like, holy shit, like that was a massive one. But this, I thought this would never come. So in the past week, and we got an announcement that this very year, we will begin Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4, which is a sequel to an outstanding video game trilogy for the Dragon Ball Z games. It was part of my childhood and growing up and going through high school as well. This was a sequel game to Dragon Ball Z Budokai, which was very popular. But this upped the ante. This was third person. You had such a big roster. I'm pretty sure Budokai Tenkaichi 3 still holds the record for the largest roster. There was about 110 characters. Like, even some random characters that were only on the scene for like 2 seconds, all from like a Lord Slug movie or the first cool movie. But we got this announced this year. It is coming. And the little snippet of the trailer that we got, so I did a reel just recently about it. So the trailer starts off with a small, like, old school TV, and it's showing all flashbacks from the video games from 1, 2, and 3. And then suddenly, boom, it changes, and you see Goku changing into Super Saiyan Blue, which looks so crisp, so fantastic, and looks so good. I was like, oh my god. And it just came out of nowhere. And the best thing about this game was whatever character you picked, you got to transform inside the game. So when you play Goku, you got Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3. And then if you were going to GT, you could transform into from Kid Goku to Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and same thing with Cell. You could do all these transformations. Frieza, you could do all these transformations in the game, even from him very small to absolutely jacked final form. You got the whole boot and caboodle. It's been 15 years since the last game, and I didn't think they're ever going to make another one. I fully assumed the closest thing that we were ever going to get to a sequel was Xenoverse, which was good. 1, 2, and 3 were fantastic games, especially 2. It really ramped it up, but there was, I was just blown away by this past week. I was texting all my mates saying, holy shit, this is coming out, which even one of the blokes I was talking to, was funny enough, he actually installed a front door for me because we got that replaced. He's like, I didn't know this was coming. I'm so excited. I remember playing this in high school. So for anyone who remembers this game, yes, we will finally be getting a sequel. We has no particular date of release. All the trailer said was 2023 will be in this game. So that's set in stone. Now, to some other news that there was a little bit disappointing, which it's really annoying, because this has been like LCR, like Last Camera Rant, top pick for 2023, which is the Suicide Squad game. Kills This Justice League is delayed. It's been pushed back, which is very little more heartening to say. It's been pushed back with no release date at this stage. The fact it might be the later half of this year, with a potential rumor it could be 2024. It will be coming out. Now, this game's already been delayed a year, and I think it could be because there was some backlash about the recent video game footage or gameplay footage that got released just recently at the PlayStation State of Play. Now, there's a lot of people criticizing it because I feel like the gaming community has been hurt before, especially when someone says it's going to be live the entire time. It's almost like a killer right now for a game or for any studio to say that. It's just a big no-no. So that was probably one thing. And another thing is with the gameplay, it looked like you were doing very similar missions. Like it wasn't showing a lot of variety. And I think that also turned people off. Even though it's just a snippet of gameplay, we can sometimes be very sensitive. But however, the resounding thing is that everyone loves the cut scenes that we did see. Everyone loved the character designs for the Justice League. They all look fantastic. And obviously we know that this will be the last time Kevin Conroy will be voicing his titular iconic character, Batman. So that's also coming to the game. But yes, it is delayed, which is very sad. And there's not much you can do. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do. But for anyone who's really hyped about this game, hold on. Until then, we do have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We will be getting that. We will be getting that sequel in April, so don't you stress. We'll at least be getting that, and obviously we're getting Dragon Ball Z at some point in this time frame. But yes, that's another delay. Another game in gaming news. Starfield, basically the more intense, realistic version of No Man's Sky, that's finally got a release date. That is coming in September the 6th this year. That has been confirmed by its recent trailer, which, funny enough, I'm pretty sure majority of the comments was finally. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I probably will not be picking up this game because I did play No Man's Sky. I liked it, but nothing really made me go, I really wish there was a realistic version of this. I really wanted a realistic game. I'm like, nah, which this is. It was exactly what this game is going to be, especially something on this grand scale. Because we all know how No Man's Sky went. And this game has been delayed multiple times, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to go coming out. But yes, if there's no delays, September 6th, and we will be getting it this year. So fingers crossed for that. So hope that was coming. And also this is not a lot of people play this game, but this is a small little favorite of mine. City Skylines by Paradox Video Games. They have announced the past week they are making number 2 that is coming this year as well. Now, this game is basically filling the void, or a massive void that was left after the last SimCity game, which was quite disappointing and horrible. Now, a lot of people didn't like that game and left a bad taste in their mouth. Insert City Skylines. Now, this game is very much what that last SimCity should have been. Now, yes, when this game came out, there was so much room for so much things that were missing compared to SimCity. However, they completely filled that with all of DLC. I was just trying to think DLC. Completely filled the game. So right now, if you do get the game, it is fantastic. Especially right now, they have just updated for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox update pack, so you can get that version, which allows you to make it even a bigger map, make it even bigger city. However, the little tidbit in the game was the fact that I did find really not annoying, but a little bit disappointing was you can go bigger. However, please make a second save file, which it says in the game, make a second save file in case the game crashes because it's too big. I was like, that's not really reassuring. That's really not, it doesn't fill me with confidence in playing this game if I have to do that on that grand of a scale. But yes, and they've also been announced it will be coming out this year, and they've also announced that there will be one final DLC for Surviving the Aftermath, which it looks like to be very similar to when they were doing Surviving Mars, with terraforming the planet into what it's supposed to be. So obviously with Mars, you terraforming the planet into an Earth full of greenery, and then obviously Surviving the Aftermath, you're turning this desolate wasteland into what the world Earth what should have been. It's called Rebirth. That is also coming this year as well, which will finish off the entire run of the DLC. So you will be getting that. Now let's move on to movie news. So very interesting enough, Jenna Ortega, she's Wednesday from the Wednesday TV show. I didn't know how else to describe that. And she's also recently in the latest Scream 6. Her stock could not be higher because it's rumored that she will have a role in Daredevil, and she will also have a role in the long-anticipated Beetlejuice 2 sequel, which will have Michael Keaton returning to his particular character, and as well as with Tim Burton returning. Now, both these two rumors have not been confirmed either, but that she's up for a role of both. Now, speaking of Daredevil Born Again, that has started shooting, which unfortunately we have some good news, and we also have some bad news. Good news is Jonathan Patel, I can't remember how you say his last name, the Punisher, will be joining the MCU. He did a small little snippet on his Instagram that he is indeed returning. He is coming back to play the character in in this new MCU version of Daredevil. The other news about which has yet to be there is no news that they will not be returning, is both Foggy and Karen. They will not be returning for the new season. But hey, they just started shooting. Anything could happen. So the interesting thing is that if they're not returning, how are they going to explain why that they're not there? Like, what is going to be that little tip that's going to say why not there? Or is he still going to be in LA? Because that's another thing. I was talking to a friend. Is he going to be still in LA, or is it going to be in New York? Because they're going to have to explain why those two aren't there. But unfortunately, that is the bad news I do have, sadly, which I am very sorry. But Jenna Ortega, her stock is going very high at the moment. And for any Punisher fans, don't you worry, he is returning. Also, in the past week, we got our first trailer for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which makes me think of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Looks stunning. Love the character designs. It's that comic book writing, which looks great. Obviously, this is being produced and rewritten by Seth Rogen, who's a big fan, a longtime fan of the titular Turtles. But yes, we will be. We got our first trailer for that. So definitely let me know what you think about the trailer. Do you like the art design, or would you be more clamoring, which I think no one is for another real live action movie? I don't think anyone's really waiting for that at all. So I don't think we're going waiting for that anymore. Very interesting as well. We also got some news that now we know with Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, it kind of not made Disney nervous, but it did not live up to the expectations that Disney wanted. Now, this obviously caused a massive shift because we got that, and then we got the Solo movie, which that didn't live up to hype either. That also caused a little bit of issues and made a little nervous. Now, that shift, because of what happened with those movies, that shifted the focus around to obviously streaming services. Now, that's where we got Obi-Wan Kenobi being a streaming movie. That's why we got the Book of Boba Fett being a streaming TV show. And obviously, The Mandalorian. That's why we got that as well. Now, it was reported very recently that there was that Patty Jenkins, she was meant to be directing Rogue Squadron. There was also talks that Kevin Feige was also going to be writing and directing a Star Wars movie, and Taika Waititi. Now, the most recent rumor is that both Patty Jenkins is out, and so is Kevin Feige. However, Taika Waititi's Star Wars film is still on the table. Also, the Star Wars Acolytes, that is also in a little bit strife because the director is suing Lucasfilm and Disney because that project has been pushed back so much that she canceled so many projects because she thought she would be focusing on this, but she's had to cancel it. So that's in trouble as well. So Disney's Star Wars movies is currently still in limbo. We don't have anything confirmed, set in stone of when we're going to get something. Is still up in the air. Star Wars TV shows, fine, you can trust them, especially now with more Mandalorian out right now. But the movies seem to be really in limbo, which is really sad. Because we're all clamoring for a new Star Wars movie, which I don't know why. Like it's really simple, Lucasfilm. All we want is an Old Republic movie with a shit ton of Sith and a shit ton of Jedi and lightsaber battles. There is so much rich history and from the expanded universe that you can take that you can take and use to make the movie. No, you don't need to continue. Let's work back. That's all we want. That's all we want. But let's try and have that, shall we? Let's try and not overcomplicate anything that we don't have to. Quite simply. Also, another interesting thing is that Keanu Reeves, he is also confirming on his Twitter that he has been in regular conversation with James Gunn about the Constantine sequel. That's still on the table. So, and it's also confirmed that James Gunn will be directing the new Superman movie. It's coming. He is going to be one busy man, but yes, will be directing. He will be directing that. We also got a little bit, looks like a Joker 2 set photos got leaked or online. Looks like they might be doing the multiple Joker arc, where the fact that it's actually 3 Jokers that's causing havoc, not just one all the time. That's also a possibility which we can see. And what was I say? Katy Perry. Lady Gaga wasn't any of these set photos. But we do get to see there's a whole bunch of other Jokers. And to top off, also in news, Jonathan Majors has broken a streak that no actor has done for, I think, a very long time. Now, he has been in the leading role of 2 major movies, which have both dominated the box office for the past 4 to 5 weeks. And which has stayed at number 1. Well, obviously, that's because of Ant-Man 3 and Creed 3. Now, the fact that they've both been at number 1 for this period of time it has been the longest time in a while that an actor has been in the top of the box office for that many consecutive weeks at number 1, which Jonathan Majors has done it, which all props to him. That's... Hey, if you could do that, like Kang is well on his way for Avengers Kang Dynasty, but I really give it to Jonathan Majors and obviously Michael Jordan. They've done fantastic job with Creed 3, and everyone's been loving it. I still need to go watch it, but it's all been fantastic. So that's really good to see. But yeah, he just broke that record. And just to top off the news, we just got the Oscars, which Brendan Fraser won the Best Actor Oscar for his role in The Whale, which is bloody outstanding for him. So fantastic. He effing deserves it. And also the Everything, Everywhere at Once. That won Best Picture, which I just saw. It has won so many awards. It has overtaken The Lord of the Rings as one of the most awarded films ever. Jamie Lee Curtis also won Best Supporting Actress. And Kyuhan Kwan, I've probably butchered his name, which I'm so sorry. He also won Best Supporting Male Actor, which you need to, if you just got 5 minutes, not even that, please go see his acceptance speech. It is beautiful. He pours his heart into it. I was watching it. And I thought, it was just like, good for you, man. Like, good for you. He's just saying, his mother's watching. I won Oscar. Don't let your dreams die. And for anyone who doesn't know his story, just a real quick, he was in some major movies at the very start of his career, The Goonies, Indiana Jones, and then he left because he couldn't get any roles, and he had to do other things, and he just recently came back into the movie scene, and boom, he started and pushed to go in Everywhere at Once, and his career is completely taken off. He's also going to be in Secret Invasion. Not sure what role it is, but he's going to be in that, or he's going to be in an upcoming role in the MCU. It's one of the two. But his acceptance speech is beautiful. And essentially it is, as you would say, don't let your dreams die. He's like, keep pumping on. And he does a fantastic, it's such a sweet speech. And he also hugs Harrison Ford, and he also hugs Brendan Fraser. It's fantastic. And Michelle, you are young. Oh, again, probably stuff her last name. She also won Best Female Actress. So fantastic. I still need to watch that movie, which I will have you guys coming very soon. So see what I meant? Like there is just so much that's happened the past week between the Oscars, gaming, left, right, boom. So let's get on to our reviews. The latest episode of Mandalorian, The Mines of Mandalore. I have to admit, it's been fantastic going right back into this world. I'm so glad that we got to see Mandalore after what happened to the Purge and what everyone's been talking about. It is, please, if you haven't already, go check out our last episode. I had Michael from the Star Wars podcast. It was a fantastic time sitting with him, chatting and talking about it. That man has such a plethora of knowledge about Star Wars that is so much fun to pick his brain, get his perspective. We also did a early predictions of what might happen with the season. So please stick with us until the end and see if we were right or wrong. But yeah, The Mines of Mandalore, obviously we joined back with Grogu. We were also joined with Mando. Obviously, he was trying to find the part for the robot, which he does go to, which he doesn't get the part, but we get to see a fan favorite return. And she gives him a new robot to go to Mandalore. Now, as he goes to Mandalore, which we do get a flashback of Bo-Katan saying it's a desolate planet. It's, boom, you can't go on there. You can't get to the planet. But we do discover during the episode that they do get on the planet, and it's actually breathable. And unfortunately, the robot he got replaced compared to the one that's voiced by Taika Waititi is a very brave. So he sends that off to go check the air and get some samples, and gets attacked by alien locals that are living on the planet, which obviously attack them, and then Mando's gonna get out there, and has to save the robot and also fight them. Now, this is the very first time since for episode 1. Obviously, there's only been 2 episodes, so it's not really a big surprise. We do get to see the dark saber. Now, interesting enough, so all the time that has passed, Mando still is not very fluent with it. He's still struggling. He's still a little bit. He's still getting his ass kicked when he uses it compared to a blaster. Now, we do know that the dark saber is a very finicky. Is probably not the right word. It's a very unique type of blade. It is very unique depending on who wields it or who uses it. It's a little bit tricky, and who is trained in it. So we do get to see that, and then we get to see this full under old city of Mandalore in this shot, and it's hard because you look at it and you're watching it and you're just like, this was once a beaming city, which you get to see in the Clone Wars. It was a beaming city, a metropolis basically. Now it is just ruin, dust, no more. Basically, it's just like the apocalypse, which essentially did happen with the Purge. As they're going to try and find the waters. Now, as they're going to try and find the waters, they go deeper, deeper, and deeper into the mines or into this desolate city on Mandalore. Now, to also go again to Mandalore, it is also covered by an electrical storm because its orbit has been completely thrown out by all the bombs and everything. So even when you do go in there, and basically it's a dead zone. You can't talk to anybody out, and no one can talk to you while you're in. Now, as we're going through this is one of the things I did love about this episode is you get to see this world. You get to see where it's at right now, and how what would have been, and what shape it's in at the moment. And it's just sad. You see leftover Mandalorian helmets, dust, life. It's just a whole civilization just basically. all gone. Now, as Mando and Grogu are going through the mines, Mando does pick up a helmet, which is actually a trap. And then he gets in this. Now, this was weird. It is a mech alien that traps him. Now, stick with me. A mech alien that traps him and goes to go cook him and roast him cook and roast him after draining his blood, which he starts pumping out his if you haven't watched the episode, yes, that is correct. So spoilers left, right, hand, center, but yes, they start pumping out his blood from it, which is really weird to say the least, but yep, that's right. Starts pumping out his blood and starts roasting him because he's trapped. Now, obviously, there's actually this alien in this giant mech suit, which you could accept, yeah. But then gets out of the mech suit and into another this weird alien. Weird alien. And there's like leftover helmets from other Mandalorian. So I guess he drinks blood and cooks him and eats him. Yeah. That's essentially how I could describe that in the best way, which is something, nothing, a little bit of salt. You got a nice nice Mandalorian, a little bit salt, a little bit dry because it's not going to be juicy. Keep that in mind. Please tell me in the comments, how do you like to cook your Mandalorians? So don't forget, they're like a hard chocolate on the outside. Anyway. He sends Grogu off to go get Bo-Katan, which she does rock up, which he does go to her home planet. She does find it thanks to the robot, the unit, and then she comes to save Mando, which she does. In this particular battle that she does have with this really weird alien, is that she does pick up the dark saber, and she is so fluent with it, it's not even funny. So this episode shows you a beautiful contrast between Bo-Katan using the saber and Mando, and see the big difference. So they kill this alien, they do save Mando, and then Bo-Katan does show Mando where the living waters are so he can get redeemed. Now, Bo-Katan does talk about the city, their history, their culture. Really, I remember that I think Bo-Katan, like, if you do the math, she's like meant to be like 50 or 60 years old at this point for this to all happen. Yeah, I know. That's exactly right. For this to all happen. And she does show him the waters, which they also talk about this giant ass serpent that's meant to be in the water. Now, as Mando goes into the water, which he does say that I think about 10 seconds before he starts going in the water, he gets taken straight down, like something like in Jaws, straight underwater. Bo-Katan goes in to save him, and we see that, and as she picks up and saves him, starts coming up the water. She does say that the serpent that's meant to live in the water still exists after all this time. So Mando is now banned in the living waters, so he is redeemed. So I don't know how that's going to go with the blacksmith woman. Very interested to know if she's going to believe him or not. How are you going to prove to her that I have been through the waters? Is it now? This is a really good thing that Michael from Star Wars did point out, is she, because everyone's not gone back to Mandalore because they think the planet's completely bombed and what is, but you can't live on it. So is this woman, the blacksmith, is she not going to want Mando to tell everybody that, the living waters exist? You could go back on Mandalorian because she can control all of them. So it's going to be very interesting to see what she's going to say when Mando does come back. I don't know how he's going to show the proof, like, hello, I'm wet. I bathed, I'm redeemed. I don't know how he's going to prove that. That should be interesting. However, the next part is now we are very much predicted is that there will be a fight between Bo-Katan and Mando, and this most likely will be the season finale. Now, it's going to be very interesting to know where this is going to lead up to. Now, Pedro Pascal did say that he did say, because someone gave me a tidbit about, because they gave me a little snippet about the show for season 3. He said there's going to be a lot of more Mandalorians. So will it be, which we predicted, will it be a fight between who will lead the Mandalorians now living on Mandalore, and then you can go back? But what did you guys think? Like, did you guys like this episode? Do you think it was a bit of a bore? I did see IGN only gave about I think 5 or 6, which I didn't think it was that bad. Like I think it's a slow build-up episode, but it's such rich in culture. It's building the lore for everyone who hasn't read all the books. It's building more of the lore, so I really enjoyed that. I didn't think it deserved that low, but some of the reviews I see on IGN, this isn't a battle or anything, but some of the reviews I do see on there, I'm like, don't you think you're being a bit cheap, or like it's not as well deserving? Like, however, one show that it is giving the best reviews for every single episode is The Last of Us, which I've seen IGN give nothing but 9s and 10s. I've never seen a show do that ever. I've never seen something have that consistent rating from point A to point B. It doesn't matter how big the season is, but The Last of Us has had that. And the last episode, look for the light. It's well, let's dive into that, shall we? Let's dive in. Okay, so last week's episode with The Last of Us, When We Are in Need, that was bang on. That was a powerful episode from start to finish, and it shows you how creepy, how mortifying the apocalypse is. You know, with everything going on, it's just what it's all like. So the eating people was really bad too. That was bad. And the end scene with Ellie and that dude just was such a strong scene. Just watching it, that was such a strong episode. So, and a lot of you know is that sometimes a final cannot live up to the hype, which we've all been there. We've gone to watch the final, we've all get excited, and it feels flat, and you're like, oh, the last episode was better, or the episode before that was better. This was so shit, or they waited too much for a season 2, or they just rushed it. This last episode wraps up season 1 outstandingly. It brings you to the point of everything that's been building. And for everyone who's seen it, I feel like if we didn't know they were making a season 2, if they weren't going to make it, this episode still wraps everything pretty neatly. It does leave a question mark, which of course every show is going to do that. It does leave a question mark, but it is just watching it, just like, oh my god. So this episode begins with how Ellie was born and her mother, and how it is possible that she is immune to the infected. Now that scene, Ellie's mom's getting chased by an infected. She is meant to meet the fireflies at this house. The infected does find her. It does bite her, and then Ellie's mum has Ellie. But she is bitten. It's a very emotional scene. It's a little bit rough. It can be very confronting, especially for anyone who's pregnant or a mother. It can be very, especially in the apocalyptic era. And then we're joined by Marceline. She's back for this episode where we haven't seen her since episode 2. I think it is. We haven't seen her since then, because obviously she left. She was injured, and she obviously left Joel with Ellie to get across country, which leads us to this point. And do find out that she died. She was Ellie's mum was shot because she didn't want to be infected. She didn't want to go down that road, and Marceline killed her, which is really sad. And then that's how this episode begins, and it looks like Ellie kind of knows it, or she's really thinking of what's going to happen when they finally get to Boston, finally get to meet the Fireflies, what is going to happen. But as this episode does progress at this very start, we see that Joel and Ellie are still really bonding, doing so well after the last episode, which was really a bit rough for Joel, a little bit gut-wrenching. Nah, for anyone who hasn't seen the last episode, you know exactly what I mean. And you do see that he's still trying to build that relationship, and they do divulge a lot more to each other, which they've been holding back. And then as they're going, we also get to see Ellie gets to see a giraffe and other giraffes that just eating and growing in the city. Now, I must admit, this is probably the only time I've watched the CGI in the show, and I was a little bit, it's a little bit taken back. The giraffe, I know it can't be real. I know it's the best they could do, but watching it, I was a little bit okay. This probably was the most jarring CGI out of the entire show that I've seen when they're trying to feed it. I was a bit like, yeah, but seeing them, watching them looking over the sea and everything, that looks fine. It was just this giraffe. It was a little bit like, ooh, you couldn't get a prosthetic. You couldn't speak to Lucasfilms about getting something done. It was especially with all the HBO money. But hey, it's not me to digress about. And then we also get to see that Joel and Ellie finally meet up with the Fireflies. Finally. Which is a bit of a rough patch, show how they get captured and Joel gets hit and flashbanged to find them. But hey, we do get to find them. And we do get to see Marceline. She finally does talk. She does talk about to Joel what they're going to do with Ellie. Now, they said that she's being prepped for surgery. They are going to hopefully find out. They're going to go why. They have some idea of why because she already has the infected in her. It's probably made her self-immune. That's why she can't get more affected. And they're going to have to do surgery on her to multiply the gene to make a cure. Now, the only way they can do this is taking it out from the brain. So they're gonna kill her. And Joel's been told all this. And he looks mortified by the whole thing. He looks like he's just like, I'm going to lose another daughter. And I can't do anything about it. He looks just gutted about the whole thing. And just like, nah, like, I can't do this. I can't do this at all. So, and he looks terrible about the whole thing. He's just like, what? And as Joel is getting taken down these stairs by the Fireflies, because Marceline says, nothing can be done. This is what we're going to do. There's nothing you can do. Your job is done. You've delivered the package. Go away. That's it. Go on your merry way. And as you can see Joel being escorted down the stairs, he looks a bit like he's still processing it. He's still processing about what he's just been told. Is that this girl you've just been protecting all this time, you've been bonding for, she's going to be cracked open like a can of tomatoes and to make a cure. And she has known nothing about it. She doesn't know that's going to happen to her, which is really gut-wrenching. And as Joel's getting taken down these stairs by his two guards, boom, that flips. He's like, no, I'm not doing this. Tackles one guard, shoots the other guard, and shoots the other guy because he's like, oh, where are they taking her? And he says, F you, boom, plugs him right in the skull. Now, this scene seems so like John Wick. Joel was on a mission. He was not going to let the same thing that happened to Sarah happen to him. And it's such a fantastic scene. How this has been shot was great. The music, the close quarters, Joel just having that look on his face that, nah, I'm going to take you out. I'm done. I'm going to save Allie. He goes through this hospital and just mows down every single guard, just takes them out point by point by point by point. It is a fantastic scene. And there is obviously that music, but it's not like big action scene. It's like a slow, intense music that's going in the background, which is great to watch. And he does find Allie. He does pick her up. He does kill the surgeon. And he takes her downstairs, which there is a car running. He's going to take her back to his brother's Tommy's village, which we all get to see the Marcin, stops him and be like, you can't do this. This is what she wanted. And Joel still looks so conflicted about the whole thing, but he's not going to let her be cracked open. And the scene flips. And then we see that he's driving. It potentially looks like he might have walked away, but he didn't. He's in the car, he's driving, he's got Ellie in the back. And he's lying to Ellie. He's lying to her that apparently there's more people that are cured, that they don't need her anymore. They're going to go on a mission. But where they were attacked by raiders, but Joel's mowed them all down. We get a good flashback back and forth about the whole thing, and as it all goes, Joel is lying to Ellie about the whole thing, and this episode, this point, especially at the start, makes you feel uncomfortable. You're just like, this isn't right. This isn't. No, I don't like this. This doesn't feel comfortable. He's lying to her. She doesn't know the real reason. And another person that she grew up with is now dead because of Joel. And as they get closer to the ranch, the car breaks down. They go for a hiking walk to hike the rest. And Joel's talking about how his daughter Sarah would have liked Ellie, the differences, and it really tries to make that bonding connection. But Ellie seems very sus about the whole thing, like something doesn't seem right. Like she's still thinking about what Joel said happened to what happened in Boston. Now, as they get a lot closer to the ranch, they're up on top of the mountain. They have a look over. There's the last little bit they're going to be looking over, and Ellie turns around and tells Joel about the first person she killed, her best friend, first person she kissed. Hey, Kel. Oh, just sorry, just been popping in from on YouTube. Just got a comment. Ellie's expressing herself about this whole scene that happened when she killed the first person, which she didn't tell Joel earlier. Now, all good, man. Don't stress. All good. Anyway, sorry. No, don't stress. So basically, and then as she tells her, Joel says, okay, and then you understand, and then here comes the real kicker. Ellie turns around and goes, now everything you told me back there about what happened with the whole Fireflies, was that true? Swear to me. And Joel turns and goes, I swear. And then Ellie looks at her and goes, okay. And boom. That's how the episode ends. So right now, we see the fact that Joel has lied to her. Joel has lied to Ellie. He's also lied to about the whole thing that happened. That's all gone. That's done. That's all I lied to her about that. I think Ellie does know that he's lied to her. That's the hard part. So season two is looking funny. Season 2 is looking weird. It's how is season 2 going to work? Like that's the like where is this going to lead? Obviously, we know there's going to be a time jump because obviously we know what happens in the video games. But as a viewer watching, like just watching like how what's going to happen next? Where is this going to lead? And we obviously know from the video games, but how's it going to lead for the TV version? That's the thing. And that is how you end a show. That is left on such a question mark. But for someone who hasn't played the games, it makes me want to go play the game and wants to make me go play The Last of Us 2 just to know what's going to become at the same time I do slightly know what's going to happen at the very beginning, which I think we all know is going to we all know what's going to happen. It's going to be very rough. I know there's a lot of people on the internet that are going to break, especially for everyone who's really love the game. Everyone for who really love the game, it's going to be really hard seeing that and really reliving this scene that we all know it's going to happen in episode 2. But now that The Last of Us is done, episode 1, episode 9, fantastic. Utterly fantastic. The show, HBO Max, they've done a great job. The original creators on board. This is how you adapt a video game into TV or into movie. This is how it's done. This now will be the benchmark moving forward for adaptations from video games to movies or TV shows in other mediums. This is now the bar. So the Twisted Metal TV show, the God of War TV show, this is the bar. This is what has to get better. This is, this is the gap now. This is the playing field. So just watching it is, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Like, what do you think of The Last of Us? Were you happy with it? Do you think it was a faithful adaptation? Can you are you ready for season? Sorry, are you ready for season 2? Are you ready for what's going to happen next? What would you like to see in season 2? What very particular? But Pedro Pascal did say that they most likely will be shooting season 2 at the end of this year. So we will be looking at, say, mid-2024 or the end of 2024 for season 2. But I think a lot of people going to go back to this. They could have not, I tip my hat off to them. They could have not done a better job, both visually, the story. This is what happens when you get the original game creators back on board. Is goddamn. I don't know what else to say. It's just, I'm just surprised on how well they've done it, and it's just like, God, son of a bitch, goddamn, they've done great. But that is my review for the last episode of The Last of Us, which that pun, which I do know a lot of people saw on memes, that, I guess Elliot's just The Last of Us. That didn't happen either. So don't you stress. But guys, that is my review for The Last of Us. So moving forward, next week we'll be looking at Shazam. We'll be looking at Mandalorian season 3, episode 3. We'll be looking forward. So please definitely go check. Definitely go let me know what you think of the latest episode of Mandalorian. What about all the news? Were you happy about the Oscars? Please let me know in the comments. And until next time, as always, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Light, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.